What if I told you that my money made more in the last 2 months while I did absolutely nothing than it would in a whole year sitting in a high interest savings account? It's a strange feeling, especially since I quit my full-time job last year. You kind of expect everything to grind to a halt, but instead that growth just pushed my portfolio over a huge milestone that I honestly never thought I'd hit this soon. So in this video, I'm going to reveal my entire portfolio and show you exactly how I hit my first ever £75,000 invested. Today, you're getting the full picture. We'll look at the one big investment that did most of the heavy lifting. I'll show you the exact no-nonsense platforms and funds I use so you can see how simple this can be. And most importantly, I'll show you how this hands-off approach lets my money grow without me adding a single extra penny. Right, let's get the boring but important bit out of the way. Nothing here is financial advice. It's just me sharing my own journey. Your money is of course always your decision. Now let's get straight into the numbers. So when I did my last update, including everything, my total portfolio was sitting at £72,411. Today that number is £76,153. That's an increase of nearly £4,000, and I want to be really clear about this. That growth happened without me contributing anything new. This wasn't from saving more, this was purely the money I'd already invested doing its job in the background. And it just shows how powerful investing is once you get the ball rolling. But not all growth is created equal. Over £1,000 of that came from one single, slightly nerve-wracking decision I made back in July. I had £20,000 sitting as cash inside my Trading 2 and 2 stocks and shares ISA. It had been earning me some great interest, but I knew it could be working harder. And I'll be honest, my brain was stuck on that classic question, is now really the right time to invest, or should I wait? Ultimately, I remembered that time in the market is much more important than timing the market. So on the 9th of July, I took a deep breath and invested the whole lot into a single fund, the Spider MSCI ACWI ETF. That sounds complicated, but it just means that I now own a tiny piece of over 2,200 of the biggest companies across the entire globe. As you can see right here, as of the 5th of September, that same investment is now worth £21,168. That's a massive return of over 1,000 in just 2 months. It's pretty incredible. I keep this in a stocks and shares ISA, which means any growth is completely tax-free. Crucially, it's also a flexible ISA, which means I can access the money at any time if a real emergency comes up without losing my allowance for the year. By the way, if you're curious about the Trading 2 and 2 platform itself and want my full honest opinion on whether it's right for beginners, I filmed a whole review which I'll link for you in the description below. Okay, so that was the star player, but what about the rest of my portfolio? My Vanguard account is my oldest and largest pot. That's gone up from £24,390 to £25,800. That's a gain of £1,410. I'll pop the funds I hold there on screen now so that you can see the individual breakdown. Next up is InvestEngine. This is a tiny account I'm testing out, and it's grown from £129 to £136. I'm still working towards consolidating all of my accounts into one master platform, and right now Trading 2 and 2 and InvestEngine are the two main contenders. And finally, my Dodl Lifetime ISA. This is invested in their On Top of the World fund, which is just the HSBC FTSE All World Fund. That's grown by £442 and is now sitting at £7,787. Now, it's absolutely critical to know that a lifetime ISA or LISA is not like a regular ISA. You can only withdraw the money tax-free to buy your first home or after you turn 60. If you take it out for any other reason, you get hit with a 25% penalty, so it's a fantastic tool, but only for those very specific goals. Now, I want to quickly come back to that comparison I made at the start of the video because it's really important. Across all my accounts, my investments have grown by around 5% in just 2 months. Let's compare that to my best high interest savings account. As you can see, this account pays 4.25% per year. And so for every £1,000 I save, I'd make £42.50 in interest after a full 12 months. My investments made more than that in just 2 months. Obviously, the stock market is an entirely different beast because your investments can go down in value as well as up. But I think this just goes to show how drastically different the returns can be. And that's why I've put so much effort into building up my investment portfolio over the past 5 years or so. I only invest money that I know I won't need for at least 5 years, which gives me that security to ride out any downturns without panicking. Having said all that, there's one massive part of people's portfolio that gets completely forgotten about: your workplace pensions. I have 2 old pensions from previous jobs that I'm not paying into anymore. The first, with Nest, has grown from £10,807 to £11,209. For that one, after doing some research, I switched out of the default fund and into their higher risk fund to aim for better long-term growth. And the second, with Legal & General, has gone from £9,605 to £9,971. And honestly, just keeping track of these is so important because the truth is, no one cares more about your money than you do, and the single biggest pension mistake is simply doing nothing at all. Research shows that 65% of people feel stressed just thinking about tracking down their old pensions, and it's easy to see why, but leaving them on autopilot could mean you lose a pot completely. So if you feel that stress and want a clear, simple plan to get everything under control, I've made a video that gives you a 3-step action plan to find your old pensions and decide what to do with them. You can watch it by clicking the screen right here. So that's the full portfolio. When I look at that £76,000 number, it feels a bit surreal. I remember my very first investment back in 2021 was an accidental £10 that made me just 10 pence back. It felt tiny and pointless at the time, but seeing it grow into this just proves it's not about being a genius or timing the market, it's about starting, even if it's small, and then just letting your money do the work over years and years. For me, investing isn't about hoarding money, it's about buying your future self more freedom and security. My big takeaway from hitting this milestone is that a simple, clear plan is everything. It removes the fear and lets you act with confidence. So you've seen the before picture of my slightly messy portfolio. The next logical step is to simplify it all. If you want to see my exact plan for consolidating everything into a master platform and the single fund I'm choosing for my future investments, then you need to watch this video right here. It's the blueprint I'm building for the next tax year and beyond. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you want more no-nonsense updates, and I'll see you in the next one.